You are 22 years old. You have a degree or you don't. You have $900 in a checking account and a decision in front of you that feels small. It is not small. Both of you start here. Same city, same age, same general idea of what your life is supposed to look like. The fork is quiet. Most forks are. Path A, the sales representative, age 22. You take the job nobody at your family's dinner table understands. Commission-based, business-to-business software sales at a mid-sized tech company. The base salary is $32,000. Your uncle calls it a gamble. Your mother asks if there are benefits. There are benefits. The real benefit is not in the package. Your first week, you shadow a rep named Carla. She is 29. She made $147,000 last year. She does not mention this. You find out from a LinkedIn post she didn't intend for you to see. You do not forget that number. The first 90 days are a specific kind of hard. You make 40 calls a day. You hear no 37 times before you hear yes once. That ratio is not an exaggeration. A study from Harvard Business Review found that 92% of salespeople give up after 4 rejections. The ones who don't are not tougher. They just understand something different about what rejection means. It means nothing about you. It means something about timing, fit, and the script you haven't fixed yet. You fix the script. You buy 3 books in month 2. Grant Cardone's The 10X Rule, Neil Rackham's Spin Selling, Daniel Pink's To Sell is Human. You read them in the morning before work, not at night when you're tired and the retention drops. Pink writes that 40% of all working Americans spend significant time in their jobs, persuading, influencing, and convincing others. He calls it non-sales selling. What you're doing is the direct version, the one that shows up on the income statement. You keep a call log in a Google Sheet. Date, prospect name, objection received, what you said, outcome. You review it every Friday for 20 minutes. You are looking for patterns. You find them. You stop saying, "Does that make sense?" after every value proposition. You learn that the pause after a price quote is not awkward. It is the moment the deal lives or dies. You learn to hold it. Year 1 total compensation, $38,400. That's base plus commissions, based on average first-year OTE for B2B software sales roles according to Glassdoor's sales compensation data. It is not impressive. It is not supposed to be yet. You automate $200 a month into a Roth IRA the first week of the job. Not because you have extra money, because you do not give yourself the option of spending it first. The balance after year 1 is $2,400. The market did something in October. You did not check. Path B, the salaried employee, age 22. You take the operations coordinator role at a regional insurance firm. Base salary $42,000. Your LinkedIn says growing professional, passionate about efficiency and teamwork. Your parents share the post. Your grandmother calls. The job is stable. The word stable gets used 4 times in the offer letter. You notice this now. Your manager is named Paul. Paul has been at the company for 14 years. Paul is 41. Paul makes $67,000. You do the math once and never do it again. The work is consistent, Monday through Friday, structured. You learn the systems, the software, the unwritten rules about who you CC on emails and who you don't. You are good at it. Being good at it does not change what it pays. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average annual raise in private sector employment is 2.8%. That number feels like movement. It is the speed of standing still against inflation. By year 3, your salary is $44,300. The math is clean and the ceiling is visible from the floor. You save some months. You don't others. The direct deposit hits, a subscription renews, a dinner happens, a weekend trip gets booked because it's been a hard quarter, and you've earned it, and you have. The work is real. The exhaustion is real. The spending is a response to the exhaustion, not a choice. That distinction matters less than it feels like it should. You do not open a Roth IRA. You think about it. The gap at age 24. Path A has $9,600 invested. Growing. Compounding quietly in an index fund with a 0.03% expense ratio while you sleep. No consumer debt. An emergency fund with $3,800 in a high-yield savings account earning 4.5% APY. Path B has $440 in a savings account. A credit card balance of $2,200 at 22.99% APR. A car lease that felt reasonable when you signed it. Net worth, approximately negative $6,400. The distance between these two people at 24 is not personality. It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is one skill, practiced daily, that one of them is building and one of them is not. And it is $187 a month invested versus absorbed. That's it. That's the whole distance. For now, Path A, the sales representative aged 25 to 29. Something shifts at 25. Not dramatically, gradually, then suddenly. The way most things that matter actually happen. You close your first enterprise deal. $84,000 in annual contract value. Your commission is $5,040. It clears on a Thursday. You move $3,000 of it directly into your taxable brokerage account before the weekend. The rest covers 3 months of Roth IRA contributions at once. Year 2, total compensation, $61,000. This is consistent with LinkedIn workforce data showing average B2B sales representative earnings in years 2 and 3 for top quartile performers between 22 and 25. You are in the top quartile. You know this because you track your numbers against the team leaderboard, and you know where you sit and why. You read The Millionaire Next Door at 25. The central thesis lands differently than you expect. The wealthiest Americans are not the ones with the most income. They are the ones with the highest gap between income and spending. You already understood this. The book gives it language. At 26, you cross $100,000 in W-2 income. According to IRS statistics of income data, this places you in approximately the top 24% of earners under 30 in the United States. You are 26. You tell no one. The number is not the point. The trajectory is the point. You begin building something else at 26. A LinkedIn presence. Not aggressive. One post a week about what you learned from a specific deal, what went wrong in a sales call, and how you fixed it the next time. You write plainly. The posts reach 3,000 people, then 12,000. A VP of sales at a company you've been targeting for a year sends you a message. The deal closes 4 months later. The commission is $11,200. Inbound is a different kind of leverage. You start to understand this. At 27, you buy a duplex in a secondary market 2 hours from where you live. You drove out on a Saturday. The structure was sound. Both units needed paint and new fixtures. A contractor walked it with you. His estimate was $9,200. You bought the property for $118,000. Down payment $23,600. Saved over 22 months without touching the investment accounts. Mortgage $561 a month. Unit 1 rents for $875. Unit 2 rents for $850. After insurance, property taxes, and a 10% maintenance reserve, you net $580 a month. It is not passive. You answer calls. You coordinate repairs. You send the lease renewal at 11 months. But the math is real. And the math does not ask for your attention the way a commute does. Year 3, total compensation, $89,000. Your base has grown. Your commissions are more consistent because your close rate has improved, because you studied your losses with the same seriousness you gave your wins. Path B, the salaried employee, age 25 to 29. At 25, your salary has grown to $47,800. The raise last year was 2.9%. The raise this year is 2.7%. The BLS average holds like gravity. You ask for more at the Year 3 review. You prepare for the conversation over a weekend. You write down your accomplishments. You come in with a number, $54,000. Paul listens. He nods slowly. He says he appreciates you bringing this forward. The company approves $49,100. The conversation takes 6 minutes. You do not know how to negotiate. Nobody taught you. Nobody taught you because nobody around you knew how. The skill was never required. You got the job from an application, not a conversation. You do your work inside the system you were handed. The system was not designed for you to negotiate your way out of it. Daniel Pink spent years researching persuasion for his book To Sell is Human, and found that most people believe selling is a skill reserved for a specific kind of aggressive personality. That belief is exactly why most people never develop it. And without it, the raise conversation ends when the other person decides it ends. Yours ended at 6 minutes. At 26, you open a 401k. You contribute 3%. The employer matches 4%. You are leaving 1% of free money on the table every month. Over the year, according to basic match math, on your $49,100 salary, that is approximately $491 in employer contributions you did not collect. You don't think about it this way. You think about it as a good step forward. It is a good step. It is not enough of a step. By 27, the savings account holds $1,300. You built it twice. You spent it once for a car repair and once for a trip you needed. Both were real needs. The problem is not that you spent it. The problem is that $1,300 is the entire buffer between your current life and a financial emergency. The floor exists. It is thin. The midpoint gap, age 27. Path A, $34,000 invested across a Roth IRA, 401k, and taxable brokerage. A rental property generating $580 a month in net cash flow. Total net worth, approximately $68,000 and accelerating. Path B, 401k balance $9,200. Savings account $1,300. Credit card balance $3,100. Net worth, approximately $7,400. The distance between these two people is $60,600. But the dollar gap is not the most important gap. The most important gap is skill. One of these people has spent 5 years developing the ability to create outcomes through conversation, to handle rejection without taking it personally, to communicate value in a way that moves people toward a decision. According to research published in the Harvard Business Review, this single competency, the ability to persuade, communicate, and close, correlates more strongly with lifetime earnings than any other measurable professional skill. The other person has spent 5 years developing the ability to execute within a system that someone else designed. Both are real skills. Only one of them scales. Path A, age 28 to 32. At 28, you are promoted to senior account executive. Your base rises to $72,000. Your OTE is $130,000. You hit 94% of quota in year 1 at the new level. Your manager asks you to mentor 2 junior reps. You say yes, not because you want the title, because you understand something important. When you teach a skill, you understand it at a deeper level yourself. You become better by explaining why you are good at what you are good at. At 29, you are offered a director of sales role at a smaller company. The equity is real. The base is $112,000. The OTE is $160,000. You take it. Grant Cardone writes in The 10X Rule that most people underestimate what is possible in a decade and overestimate what they can accomplish in a year. You are not most people anymore. You have modeled your trajectory in a spreadsheet. You look at it on the 1st of every month. Year 7, age 29. Total compensation, $134,000. The duplex has been refinanced. The cash flow is now $661 a month after the rate adjustment worked in your favor. You are researching a second property, not from ambition, from math. The first one proved the model works. The second one is proof that you understood the first one. You close on a triplex at 30. Purchase price $161,000. Net monthly cash flow after all costs, $740. Between the two properties, you collect $1,401 a month in real estate income. It processes while you're in sales calls. It does not know your schedule. Your investment accounts at 30. Roth IRA, $47,200. 401k is $61,400. Taxable brokerage, $38,800. Total invested, $147,400. The compound interest this year contributed $10,318 to your net worth without a single active decision on your part. Warren Buffett has said that the most important investment you can make is in yourself. You understand now that he did not mean self-help. He meant skill, the kind that cannot be outsourced, the kind that does not depreciate. Path B, age 28 to 32. At 28, you are making $53,000 a year. The title is Operations Specialist 2. The 2 was added 18 months ago. It did not come with a significant pay change. Paul was laid off at 27. You watched it happen. He came in on a Tuesday and left before lunch with a box. His replacement is younger. Her name is Kayla. She is efficient and pleasant, and she does not know you the way Paul did. This is neither good nor bad. It is just different. But Paul's box has stayed with you. At 29, your company is acquired. The transition period is unsettling. Roles are evaluated. Yours survives. You are relieved. The relief is genuine and total, and you are aware of how strange it is to feel total relief about keeping a $53,000 job at 29. The credit card debt has cycled. You paid it down twice. Both times it came back within 18 months, not from recklessness. From a budget that has no slack and a life that has unexpected costs, because all lives have unexpected costs. At 30, you earn $57,000. Your 401k balance is $18,400. You have $1,900 in savings. No investment accounts beyond the 401k. No real estate. No secondary income streams. You are not in crisis. The word crisis does not apply. You function. You pay your bills. You show up. The month ends. The next one starts. But nothing compounds. That is the quiet problem. Nothing compounds. The gap at age 30. Path A. Total net worth approximately $248,000. Monthly real estate cash flow $1,401. Investment accounts generating wealth in the background every single day. Path B. Net worth approximately $20,300. Monthly passive income, 0. The salary is required. If the salary stops, the math breaks within 60 days. At 7% average annual return, which is the historical inflation-adjusted average for broad U.S. Equity markets. The $147,400 Path A holds in investment accounts today becomes $578,000 in 20 years without a single additional contribution. The $20,300 Path B holds produces nothing on its own. Most of it is locked in a 401k for 29 more years. They are 30 years old. They have been working for 8 years. One of them has a skill that scales and a system that compounds. The other has seniority and a thin floor. The seniority does not compound. Path A. Age 31 to 35. The LinkedIn presence has grown. You have 14,000 followers now. Inbound consulting requests come in twice a month. You take one in year 3 at your director role. A startup needs a sales system built from scratch. You spend 6 months doing it, evenings and weekends. The contract is for $48,000. You are 32. At 33, you close a second consulting engagement, $67,000, 8 months of part-time work. You structure it as an S-Corp on your accountant's recommendation. The tax treatment is favorable. Your salary at 33 is $141,000. Your total income that year is $208,000. You do not spend $208,000. You spend $74,000, including the mortgage on your primary residence, which you purchased at 31 with a 20% conventional down payment. You invest the rest, methodically, inside the same system you built at 22 when you were making $38,000, and the numbers were modest, and the discipline was identical. At 35, your investment accounts hold $284,000. Real estate equity across 3 properties is $119,000. Net worth, $430,000, and climbing at a rate that now exceeds what most people earn in a year. A coworker in a company you consult for asks how you did it. You tell her exactly. Total market index fund, automated on payday, before you can see the balance. A skill that scales. A second income stream that runs on systems, not on your presence. She writes it down. You don't know if she does it, but you told her honestly. Path B. Age 31 to 35. At 31, you consolidate $8,400 in credit card debt into a personal loan at 11.4% APR. The monthly payment is $234. The cards are clear. The cards do not stay clear. By 33, two of them carry balances again. This is not moral failure. It is structural. When the budget has no slack, unexpected costs become debt. When debt has minimum payments, the budget has less slack. The cycle closes on itself. Promotion at 32. Title: Operations Manager. Salary: $69,000. The neighborhood improves. The rent increases. The lifestyle absorbs the raise before the bank account notices. At 34, a medical procedure costs $5,200 after insurance. You do not have $5,200. You put $3,800 on a card at 21.99% APR and pay it down over 14 months. At 35, your 401k holds $38,200. You have no other investment accounts, no real estate, net worth approximately $24,000. The 401k is real. The discipline it took to build it is real. But $38,200 at 35, in a market that has historically returned 7% annually after inflation, puts you on a trajectory to approximately $148,000 at 65. According to the Employee Benefit Research Institute, the average American retires with roughly $89,000 in savings. You are above average. That is a low bar. You are not in crisis at 35. You are in the middle of a life that functions. The problem is, function without momentum. You move. Nothing accelerates. The gap at age 35. Path A. Net worth $430,000. Real estate generating over $1,400 a month. Investment accounts compounding at a rate that adds $30,000 to net worth annually from interest alone. A skill set that is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable in a market that, according to LinkedIn workforce data, lists sales and business development as the top unmet talent need across every major industry sector. Path B. Net worth $24,000. Monthly passive income, 0. Total dependence on an employer who has already shown, once, that it will make decisions without you in the room. The distance between these two people is $406,000. More important than the number, one of them has options, not abstract options. Modeled, stress-tested, specific options. The other has a salary, one employer, one Tuesday where everything holds and one Tuesday where it doesn't. Path A, age 36 to 40. You leave the director role at 37, not because you're fired, because you ran the model, and the model said you don't need it. A final consulting contract closes at 38, $240,000, one client, 8 months. Systems you built are now running a 40-person sales organization without you in the room. You structured the deal on deliverables, not hours. The distinction is the whole thing. At 39, you hire a fee-only financial planner. Her name is Ren. She charges $5,200 a year. In the first year, she identifies a depreciation schedule across your 4 properties that reduces your taxable income by $34,000. She structures a SEP IRA contribution through your consulting S-Corp that shelters $28,000 from federal tax. The $5,200 fee returns $11,400 in tax savings. You renew the contract immediately. You wonder what she would have found at 30 if you'd found her at 30. You drive a 2020 Camry, 101,000 miles. It runs. At 40, you check the accounts on a Wednesday morning. Roth IRA, $112,000. 401k, $194,000. Taxable brokerage, $295,000. SEP IRA, $88,000. Real estate equity across 4 properties, $231,000. Total net worth, $920,000. Real estate cash flow, $2,800 a month. Net, after every cost. The model at 43 shows full financial independence. Investment income plus real estate cash flow replaces the salary you no longer need. You ran it under 3 scenarios: conservative, base, and stress. All 3 work. You have options: concrete, modeled, real options. What you can do is simply larger than what you must do. The distance between those 2 things is the only definition of freedom that has ever made sense to you. Path B. Age 36 to 40. A layoff at 37. Not yours. Your team's. A restructuring. Your role is eliminated, along with 14 others. 6 weeks severance. $9,100 after taxes. The 401k holds $51,000. It is locked. You spend the severance carefully. It lasts 8 weeks. The job search takes 14 weeks. The gap costs $4,200 in credit card debt. The new role pays $74,000. A lateral move. The title is different. The function is the same. You are relieved to have it. Relief is not progress, but it feels like enough. Some months. At 39, you are current on everything. Credit card balance $2,400. 401k recovered to $61,000. Savings account $3,800. You feel stable. Stable is a floor, not a direction. Net worth at 40. $61,000. Almost entirely inside a 401k you cannot access for 19 more years without penalty. The checking account holds $2,200. The savings account holds $3,800. Rent has increased every year for 9 consecutive years. A down payment would require 2 years of focused saving. You have not yet built the habit that makes 2 years of focused saving possible. Not because you lack discipline, because discipline deployed against a system that was never designed for accumulation produces effort without output. You are not lazy. That word has never applied to you. You went to work every day. You solved the problems they gave you. You were present and reliable and real. But the skill you built at 22 was execution inside someone else's system. And execution inside someone else's system has a ceiling. The ceiling was visible from the floor. You saw it. You stayed anyway, because the floor felt solid and the ceiling felt far away. It felt far away until it didn't. The final comparison. Age 40. Path A. Net worth $920,000 and compounding. Monthly passive income $2,800. Salary optional. A skill set that 40% of all jobs require and most people never seriously develop. Options not as an idea, but as a set of modeled, specific, real alternatives to a life that is already working. Path B. Net worth $61,000. Monthly passive income 0. Salary required. 1 layoff from a financial crisis that a $3,800 savings account cannot absorb. A floor that is functional and real and thin. The distance between these 2 people is $859,000. 18 years ago, they were the same. Same age, same uncertainty. The fork in the road was quiet and unremarkable, and did not announce itself as a fork. One of them took a job nobody at the dinner table respected. One of them made 40 calls a day and heard no 37 times before they heard yes. One of them learned, slowly and through loss, that rejection is not information about who you are. It is information about the conversation you haven't figured out yet. And then they figured it out. Daniel Pink spent years studying human persuasion and concluded that selling is not a personality type. It is a skill, a compounding human skill, the ability to communicate value, to understand what someone else needs, to create an outcome through conversation that wouldn't have existed without you in the room. 40% of all jobs require it. Most people never develop it deliberately. They learn to execute, they learn to comply, they learn the system they were handed. The system compounds. That is the only thing that was ever true. The spending system compounds. The building system compounds. The skill compounds. The avoidance compounds. You are 22 years old. You have a decision in front of you that does not look like a decision. It looks like a job offer. It looks like a choice between safe and risky, between stable and uncertain, between the thing your family will understand and the thing they'll ask about at Christmas for 3 years before they stop asking. The fork is quiet. It always is. But somewhere, right now, there is a version of you at 40 checking a brokerage account on a Wednesday morning with nothing particular pressing and nothing particularly urgent, and a model that says the math works, and a calendar that says the choice is yours. And somewhere else, there is another version. Same age, same amount of work put in, real work, honest work, a life that functions. But the floor is thin, and they can feel it. The Tuesday after the decision always comes, for both of them. The question is only what that Tuesday looks like.